The House Armed Services Committee has decided to approve an additional $100 million in defense spending. And the reason why they want to include this additional spending is because they believe that it's important to build missile interceptors on the East Coast. They're very much concerned about Iran, and they believe that if Iran does decide to launch missiles and declare nuclear war against us, at least we'll have interceptors on the East Coast. The only problem is right now Iran's longest range missile travels about 800 miles.
How far is Iran from the East Coast? I'm confused.
Much further than 800 miles.
Oh, all right. Well.
No, this is incredible. So House Republican aides say the extra interceptors are a must because Iran may be armed with an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, in just 3 short years. Except back in 1998, Donald Rumsfeld said by 2003, Iran would have that capability. And apparently they didn't.
No, it wouldn't seem so. I mean, I don't know how well these things work. You know, this is not strategic defense initiative. We're not shooting them down from space, at least, presumably. But I don't know what the hell we're talking about here. And this just seems like $100 million gift. Mm-hmm. And, you know, look, here's what's going to happen if Iran were to launch one missile at the United States of America. We'd obliterate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, whatever happened to the MAD principle, mutual assured destruction. In this case, it's not mutual. If Iran attacked us, they might get something through, and that might be terrible. But we would annihilate Iran. Like, that's our protection. That's our missile defense, is that we would literally blow Iran off the face of the map, and we would kill millions of people in the process, and that's just the way it goes, because they would have attacked us. So it won't work. It's a waste of money. And thankfully, I hope it won't get past the Senate and get to the president's desk. But, you know, I don't know. The House Republicans are whacked and so disingenuous when they claim to be obsessed about reducing the deficit. What about that? What about the reducing the deficit?
Well, this is a national security issue. And by national security issue, they want to find ways to fund private contractors, weapons manufacturers, as much money as possible, because that's what this industrial war complex is.
Yeah, first, you know, I don't know how much this stuff costs, right? Mm-hmm. But
a lot of money.
Here's what it doesn't cost: $100 million. I mean, it's more. So this is like let's see what we can come up with.
It's like opening the doors to it, right? And right now, and Cenk is going to talk about this on the Current show tonight. I think it's a really great story. We're talking about cutting funding for education, cutting funding for people who depend on the government in order to eat. You know, students who are going to school and taking advantage of free lunches because their families are poor, and that's one of the only ways that they can eat. We're cutting spending for those types of programs in order to fund additional money to defense spending. So much of our federal dollars already goes to defense spending, and this is one of the things that, you know, Ron Paul, you know, he comes up every once in a while on the show, and it's one of the things where whenever he's talking about defense spending and how we need to drastically cut it, I'm just like, yes. He's such a mixed bag for me, but it's refreshing to hear someone be so, I guess, outspoken about that.
I don't think he's a mixed bag. I think
he's definitely a mixed bag.
I think it's a bag you get with Halloween candy, and everything in there is like apples with razor blades in them, and some poisoned energy drinks, all the horrible things that are allegedly coming out at Halloween, and then buried in there's a Snickers bar. But it's not a mixed bag. It's a horrible bag with a bite-sized Snickers in it that's delicious. And that's
I agree with him when it comes to a
defense
lot of different issues. The defense budget, I agree with him when it comes to the war on drugs. I agree with him when it comes to international affairs. I think that we get too involved in what goes on internationally. I know that he's a bit of an isolationist, but I'm so tired of meddling in the affairs that happen in other countries. I just want to get out of there.
Yeah, Ron Paul's a crackpot. And the only reason that I think we agree with him on defense spending is because he wants to cut a zillion things, and the defense budget is one of them.
Yes.
Oh, great, that's fantastic. But
I hear you.
At least he's consistent in that he wants to cut everything, but he'd be a disaster.
Yeah.
We also, by the way, it should be pointed out, Defense Department already has a plan in motion to launch missile interceptors from Europe.
Yes.
So they're not going to get to the East Coast. And $100 million, again, there's no way that a missile defense system to intercept missiles all along the East Coast, I'm going to make it up, that's going to cost $19 billion, right? If we were to do it. If it were necessary, I think it's the kind of thing, and worked, it might actually be the kind of thing Americans could get behind. It might be a wise military expenditure, because then maybe we cut a lot of other things, because we'd be like, hey man, we can shoot anything down. But giving them $100 million here, that's just payola, man.
Oh,
that's just,
definitely.
Let's just go out. Let's just go to dinner, get a steak, go to a strip club. That's what that $100 million
It's
is
like,
for.
look, if we're not going to go to war with Iran, we might as well put certain systems in place just in case they decide to attack us first. Except they don't have the capability to attack us in the first place. So why are we wasting our money? It drives me crazy. It makes my head explode. And in the grand scheme of things, I understand that $100 million is not that much spending, right? But still, I mean, that $100 million can go toward bettering education.
Look, I'm making the point that the whole thing's nonsense. It's just a gift. It's just payout, man. It's worse. It's the worst kind of waste of $100 million. And these guys are so disingenuous. Budget. Screw you, you liars. What are you talking about? It's a gift. It's a gift. $100 million for something we don't need, for something we'll never use, and money we don't. Come on.